Still connecting. All right, we are connected. We are live. Thomas Brannick, welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions. And it's been a long time since we've seen one another in person, but it's been awesome to watch your progression. And thank you for coming on to the show, Tom, and chatting to us. Can't wait to hear what awesome stuff you've been up to.
Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure to be on, and it's been far too long since we've seen each other in person and shared some good food and good
Yep.
conversation, but glad to be here.
It's awesome. And watching you sort of make a Ford Raptor truck look small. I remember that. So
I've still got the pictures on my phone.
Oh, smash. You want to make something big look small, put Tom next to it. Yeah. So we met in La Manga in Spain, if I'm not mistaken.
We did, yes, on the IPF course.
On the IPF coaching course. What did you think? Well, first off, let me say this. I think the resort learnt very early on with you, Paul, and myself that a tray of scrambled eggs, which they intended, I think, for everybody, would only last 3 people if we were at the front of the queue.
That is correct. I remember us getting 2 mains instead of starters, so a lot more food than we should have.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, we needed it.
Absolutely. After a certain German, we won't mention any names, made us do duck walks with dumbbells overhead. So a lot of fun on that course. And would you consider doing the level 1, the next one that's out now? I think it came
I
out
would,
last year.
yes. The biggest thing I got from it was just the conversations with people and really learning from their experiences. You know, the course is great, but I think we all stepped onto that course with a good baseline of knowledge and experience. But the biggest thing that I got was just meeting of those people and meeting of those minds.
Absolutely. That spot on. Oh, sorry, I've got to change my background. This isn't the road to essays. Sorry about that, Tom. There we go. Nobody saw a thing. No, 100%. And I think this is where the podcast's going. I think the value of that, as you said so rightly, was time with amazing powerlifters, time with the incredible trainers and the knowledge that they shared, and just amazing, for me, that was the birth of the connection to the community, if that makes sense. Because we're still mates with everybody on social media, but you guys came out to South Africa. I think, was that for Commonwealth?
It was, yeah,
Hey?
2017,
Mm.
2018, I think it
Wow.
was.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy, huh? And,
Yes.
got to hang out with you guys, got to do a lot of trips back and forth to Potch, which was a lot of fun, and got to show some South African food. So very, very special.
You know what? I still remember when you took us to the cafe and that cheesecake.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had a better cheesecake since. That was immense.
That's there we go. I got to give a sound effect for that one. No, absolutely, and it's waiting for you. Hopefully, on your next visit. I was going to say, I've known you so long. You're going to be a master soon.
Yeah, a few more years. Yeah,
Few more
a few
years,
more years.
absolutely. Yeah, I'll be master 3 before you get to master. I think that's only fair. Uh, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Tom. I mean, I know you well, but for those watching now, who is Thomas Brannick, and a little bit about your journey in powerlifting, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I'm under 105 kilo IPF powerlifter. I've been powerlifting for over 10 years now and had a great interest in just self-development through the sport, whether that's a few kilos on the bar or going to a competition. It's what really drawed me in. And I've been following that journey and that pathway for a long time. And you mentioned Paul as well. Um, Paul Campbell, very influential in my journey. You know, I met him when I was studying at university and he introduced me to the sport. And I remember those early conversations with him about powerlifting, strength training, and one day hoping to compete. And we jumped on a program, we competed, and we developed our learning and understanding over the next few years. And the sport was something that I fell in love in, again, going back to that self-improvement aspect. And I've coached alongside Paul under his kind of mentorship when he was doing strength and conditioning. And then it got me into coaching and really following that pursuit and passion with powerlifting. And to speed things up, where I sit now is I'm a powerlifting coach. I work in an amazing facility called Nottingham Strong, one of the best facilities in Europe for powerlifting. And I'm very grateful to be working at university level as well with a university team here in the
Sure.
UK. So in a nutshell, that's kind of my journey. I've again been competitive. I've been very lucky to compete IPF Worlds, win the Commonwealths when I was out in South Africa, which was amazing, and competed on the European stage a couple of times as well. So I've got that wealth of experience that I've been very lucky to have.
From your side, and just knowing you, I mean, I know you love competing, but the sense I get is you love training more, and you love sort of the coaching side of it as well. So the lifting and the competing is great, but I see you have a real passion for your training and the programming and sticking to what you've got to do.
Absolutely, 100%. It's the, as you mentioned, it's the process. It's been a great stabilizer for me lifting, and the barbell doesn't matter who you are, where you've come from. It's the same for everybody, and that's what I absolutely love about it. I'm introducing students to their first time getting underneath a barbell and seeing them flourish was exactly how I took to the sport in the beginning, and that itself is very rewarding. So yeah, it's very much about the training and the process, and I've had some knockbacks, as everybody does with injuries, but the training is always maintained in some capacity.
Right. What are the things you love about powerlifting?
The simplicity of it. It's a barbell. It's a straight bar, and it's attainable. People can just go to a local gym that doesn't cost very much and do a barbell squat, barbell bench, deadlift. And it's really that love for the simplicity of it. But as we know, scratch beneath the surface, and it's highly technical.
Yep.
But the initial draw is just the simplicity of it.
What's it been like for you coaching and sharing your passion and your knowledge and wisdom, Tom, with with other lifters? You mentioned the university with younger athletes. And I think the big thing I know from your side is making sure that they're safe. It's simple, but you've got to be safe if you want a long career in this amazing sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking into consideration development factors for younger athletes is hugely important, and just making sure they're enjoying the process as well, because sometimes people enter the sport with these grand ambitions, and that's fine to have, but we all have to pay our dues on the bar first. We have to learn the technical side of it, because technically sound lifters are, in my opinion, they stay away from injuries a lot longer, and they build a resilient body and frame to be able to take things forward. And if it's something they want to stick to, then they can look at national level, work their way through that, then hopefully European, and then worlds.
I love that progress. The big thing, and I think, is when you are committed to lifting safely and doing it appropriately, that carries through to the other areas of your life, your nutrition, your hydration, your recovery, your sleep, all of those things that you can start to tap into. The more you do, the more you see the numbers go up. So have you seen in your experience where the lifting has the bug is bitten, and then these younger lifters start to live a little bit more responsibly in terms of committing to their powerlifting?
Yes, I've seen that in abundance. It gives people, as we've mentioned, a great structure and accountability, because it's a sport they enjoy doing. So then they start to think about, okay, what else can I do to improve or continue on the same path? And they look at their outside lifestyle factors. Going back to students, for example, they can be notorious for going out and not sleeping well, and eating not the right things. But turning up to a team training where there's a group of 30 powerlifters, they want to be involved and they have a positive influence because of that. And absolutely, those dominoes start to fall in terms of better sleep, better food, and then going along to competitions. And one thing that I always talk about with these students is within the competition atmosphere, it's very, very friendly.
Hmm.
People want you to succeed. Yes, you are on that platform by yourself, but you have everybody else in a warm-up room shouting you on to do well and hit the PBs.
It's such a great point you make there. It's not just about the support on the platform when you're lifting. It's something that I actually forgotten about. It's the cheering and the support you're getting in the warm up room from those you're competing against, and it's so special in the sport. What does the community mean to you? What do you love about this wonderful community of ours?
It's the ongoing support, whether it be in your local gym or online. Our sport is completely global because of social media platforms as well. And it's that ongoing good nature and good sportsmanship that you see. Even if you are in the same weight class with somebody and you're quite close in terms of totals and positionings, there's very, very rarely any bad blood. It's all support. It's all good motivation from seeing other people compete.
Right. Sure. Absolutely. And the thing also that I just wanted to touch on, you mentioned sort of getting onto the platform and competing. For me, one of the things that drives me the most mad in our sport is where new lifters, new guys that are coming into the gym and you trying to encourage them to go and compete, and they hit you with the I'll compete when I can win. Right? I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but
Yes.
yeah. How frustrating is that? Because for me, it's like you're missing out on all of the wonderful experiences of being cheered for by strangers in the warm up room, as you said, and then on the platform, you're missing that opportunity. So, two questions: how often does it happen to you, and what do you think is that they are missing out on with that mindset?
Yeah, I get asked this a lot, and the response is always, "I don't feel good enough to compete." And
Mm.
I work at the university level is people sometimes getting into the sport for the first time, and that's their biggest hurdle, not feeling like they're good enough. So I do hear that on a very regular basis, and they're missing out on so many things. Enjoyment, um, that team atmosphere, and that self achievement as well. That biggest thing, it can be quite daunting to step on the platform for the first time, but having that achievement that you've done, and you've squatted or benched and done a whole meet under these rules, that sense of achievement stays with you, and that's when the
Yeah.
fire really starts to burn brightly. So that's what they're missing out on. So anybody that's thinking they're not good enough or they need to be at a certain level, you really need to reevaluate where you are. You need to learn that platform craft. Not everyone is a winner straight away on the platform, and it's a very fun, enjoyable journey to just get out there and compete and then see where you sit amongst everybody else.
Platform craft. At the end of the day, competitive powerlifting is about one thing and one thing only. It's not about getting your numbers right. It's not about lifting the most weight. It's not about anything except. So this is my opinion, and I'd like your thoughts on it. Your job as an athlete is to shut up, listen to your coach or your handler, do what they tell you, and your sole job is to make your lifts as easy as possible for the referees to pass. That's it. You're on the platform to make your lifts easy to pass. So that's what your job is, and that's what you need to set your weights around and your mindset. So I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly correct. There's only a very small percentage that get to fight and be champions.
Mm,
So for the mass majority of us, it is about that self-achievement and simplifying the process as well. Because people overcomplicate it from themselves. Like you said, you need to hit the lifts and make sure you pass. So just moving from A to B. Don't
yeah,
think about 100 other things.
yeah.
Simplify that process of you just lifting the weight.
That and when you have an athlete that maybe bombs their final squat or they mess up, and now they're going into bench, it's always a challenge, I think, with new lifters to get them to shift their mindset from what's done is done. You focus on your next lift now, and don't beat yourself up. Don't have that negative self talk. When you see that click for an athlete in the time that you're working with them, how valuable is that for them as a life lesson?
Hugely. It takes some time to get there,
Mm.
but if when they learn to overcome or forget something quickly, then it's a clear pathway forward. It's not there's no kind of like fog in the way of them moving forward. They know which direction to step into, and that next one they can take with confidence. And
Yeah.
that is the biggest thing. When it clicks in place, then nothing is really a failure. It's a cliche saying within powerlifting is there's no failures, there's just good lessons. And it's just really hammering that home, and it takes a lot of time. From our perspective of as coaches, it needs some frank and open conversations with people, and just being not hard on them, but just making sure they're aware that it's not the end. There is another
Yeah.
lift coming, or there is another opportunity that now you are in a better place to take.
And it's the lifts that you fight for and don't get. Those are the ones that the nervous system really wants in order to grow and develop. Those are the ones that bring the growth. We've chatted to quite a few university students on here, and they've all shared their challenges with studying and trying to compete, where it comes in that it's the hours that they're studying, or we've got a couple of veterinary students that we've spoken to, and it's having to do the practicals and the limited nutrition opportunities, the limited sleep opportunities. Working with university students and the pressure that they're under, how valuable, I mean, it's a silly question, but people need to know this. How valuable is powerlifting for them, whether it's just to train or whether it's to train and compete?
It's a positive escapism. Under that stress, it's a time to come into the gym, compartmentalize your studying life and your gym life, and give the time back for you, because they're surrounded by studies and exams and time pressures. And hopefully they can step into that gym and, organize their schedule so they can give themselves an hour, 2 hours, where it's just them, the bar, their head and their feet are in the same
Mm.
place. They're not wandering. So it can be hugely, hugely important.
The sense I get what you're talking about is like it's a mini vacation, a micro vacation from life as a student, and much better, with all due respect to those who do, than going down the pub and drinking or eating badly. Or, I think also, like, if you eat badly, you may not feel it so much if you're not lifting. But if you're lifting and you're putting yourself under that load, the bar's going to tell you your nutrition's not on track. It's going to tell you anything in your life that's not on track is not on track. So,
Yeah, it's
that,
a great highlighter.
mm,
Lifting weights and taking a positive step in the gym will definitely highlight areas where there needs to be improvement, and that's a blessing almost. You get to be told what needs to be improved, and that just opens another door of opportunity.
yeah, and it's a very honest way to look at yourself and make adjustments before they become problems potentially. Right, before your nutrition starts to affect your studying or your lack of sleep, because the bar is going to be very demanding in that way. It's the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah, it 100% is. It really is. And it does take some time for people to recognize, but
Mm.
they're constantly taking positive steps forward. So it will become a point where they will address eventually.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the gym where you coach from, and because you had a big smile on your face when you were telling us about it.
Yeah, so the gym that I coach from is called Nottingham Strong. The owners there have been in the powerlifting world for an extremely long time, and it started out as an opportunity and a niche um, into the market, because we all see these commercial gyms and, even some privately owned gyms that are good, but they're not quite itching the powerlifting side. So these two individuals have put together a facility where there is 12 ER competition racks,
Sure.
all competition grade equipment, and they're really delivering and offering a space for strength and powerlifters, and they have a keen interest in the bodybuilding world as well. So it's a well kept secret that Nottingham Strong has some world class equipment from Nautilus,
Mm-hmm.
Cybex, Gymlico, all the big names you don't normally see in the UK, bar big chain gyms like Ultraflex. Nottingham Strong has a place for everybody.
What is the community like?
It's amazing. Honestly, it's I can't speak highly enough of it. We've all worked collectively there, owners and coaches, to make it an environment where you know everybody. You can walk in and you're not just another face. People here come from elite sport backgrounds, or they're very competitive in bodybuilding and powerlifting, and equally for the person who lives next door, they can come in and be shown the same welcome.
Sure.
And it's got a lot of kit, but there's a lot of members. And something that we've also worked hard on is, someone's using a piece of kit that you want to also use, you can go up to them and ask to work in, and that'd be fine. Sometimes there's a
Sure.
bit of a culture in the UK where people just got the headphones in, phone in their hands, and you can't approach that individual. So here we've made it a really good open community.
That's so valuable, because I think one of the biggest challenges in gyms, and this is the value of being 53 years old and going to gym with my late dad or with my grandfather in the 70s. You talk about Nautilus machines, when these machines just came out, and it was a big thing, and most of the gym was aerobics floor. And then, because for the guys and the girls, and then there were some Nautilus machines, and then there was always a jacuzzi, a sauna, and a cold plunge pool. But there were no headphones. So everybody was talking to everybody else. And sometimes, and I think with the youth, I'm not sure if you've seen it with sort of some of your university students, where with COVID and the challenges, we've spoken a little bit about this on some of the other shows, where people were locked away and lacked that ability to connect one-to-one and in person, and that sort of the headphones are used to isolate ourselves from social interaction. So if you have a gym that's building a culture of, if I'm on the kit and you need it, and I come up and talk to me, because that's how a conversation starts. And the biggest thing with powerlifters is, more than lifting, they love helping, spotting and loading other lifters in the gym.
Yes.
And like moving plates for everybody. So you're on your own on a bar, you start a conversation with powerlifters, they're going to all be there, and you'll be training with a group and a team and developing friendships and just connect. And that's so valuable. Can you share a little bit about sort of what you've seen in the gym with this, and how's it helped people connect?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, if, like you say, we've got 12 combo racks, but they get used all the time. So, sometimes people have to wait a little bit, but, less than 5 minutes, and they're on the same rack with 3 or 4 people. And that might not be people they normally know or see or talk to. And that's their chance to interact with some new gym members and make friends. And they're also getting that social aspect as well. So that's when you do see the headphones come off, and they're talking to each other. What are you going for today? What are you lifting? Or what federation are you training in? When's your next competition? So there's a wealth of information being thrown around, and the next time they step into the gym, that interaction for them is a lot easier to go and do. So that's the biggest thing that I've seen, and helping each other.
You've given me an idea where I think I'm going to start a gym, and just okay. And SBD, don't sue me here. We're going to start a branch and call it squat, bench, deadlift, and you just have racks, and that's all you do. But the deal is, to belong to the gym, you have to come and train with other people, because I think in reality, if you can work it with clients and train them, because we all see it in the warm-up area at a competition. that you can have 10 people training on one rig. So you got 10 people benching, 10 people squatting, and 10 people deadlifting, probably 15 deadlifting because you want the longer break. And if you can move quickly enough, you can have something really, really social. And then maybe we could put food there as well, but that would be another argument.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, plenty of nice food will definitely attract powerlifters in.
100%. Tell us a little bit about your coaching journey. How did you go from athlete to coach? We spoke about Paul. I think Paul's got the most amazing ability to communicate information and observe. He's an amazing coach and amazing athlete. I think what's he going now for his 14th doctorate, or we're going to have to call him Lord Sir Professor Dr. Paul. So,
Yeah, all the terms in front of his name.
Yep,
But
that's it.
he was highly influential to me
Yeah.
and still is. You know, he's a great friend. And one thing that I learned from him the most was to teach the athlete along the way, because people have questions, and to really nurture that relationship. And that's really built upon my coaching philosophy. And as I was getting into the sport, I was studying at university, and he was a lecturer and head S&C coach at a professional football team that was local. And I just shadowed him as much as I could. And I saw some great athletes at the peak of their careers and was influenced in a positive manner by them, and seeing Paul deliver his coaching style. And then from there, I took the interest and was like, okay, I want to learn a little bit more about what's going on. And I would, you know, Paul would tell me information. I'd go away and do my own research, and it quickly snowballed. And it's like, all right, okay, I really enjoy doing this. I've got lifting as well. And, you know, I can help people get into a similar position that I was in, you know, go into these international events, which was incredible. So slowly been building up over the years. And it's really only been the last 3-4 years that I've really tried to put myself out there more and more in the coaching sphere. As we know, social media plays a huge role. I mean, it's good to be known on the local circuit as well. So I definitely have not neglected that. You know, loads of people that I interact with on a local level, but really trying to expand outwards and just help as many people as possible. That's so important. And start of this year was the launch of my coaching brand, Motion Performance. Me and my business partner, Alec, who was also on the IPF course as well. We've come together with, you know, 10 years of experience each.
Would that be Alec the Handsome?
It would be, yes.
Ah, that's epic. So you guys are, I didn't know that. We better chat to him as well, Tom. I'm going to leave that up to you.
Yes, you need to.
100%.
Yes.
Oh, what a legend. Okay.
And he's a great mind. You know, his specialization is in physio. You know, he's been a high level competitor himself, going to IPF Worlds, and he's studied degrees and master's level to deliver a great comprehensive service of also having the knowledge from the coaching perspective and understanding how the body works, and giving a really unique style on physiotherapy. And I've combined my coaching knowledge and experience, and he's combined his physio, and we're really offering what we see as the first service to do that within the UK. And we're very, very thankful to know a network of people where we can add to that. We've got a dietitian, a part of our team, and we're talking with a psychologist as well. So we want to mimic as much elite sport as possible within this space.
And I think the relationship, I mean, I'm fortunate to have known you guys for a long time. And the relationship that you guys have with one another, the ability to share information, the ease at which you can talk to one another and understand what one another is saying, I think is going to be invaluable to your clients. Absolutely invaluable. Are you working physically and online as well? So how does it work?
Yes, so I'm working out of Nottingham Strong, offering, you know, university training and in person, and then online. So we want to cover both those aspects. If someone wants to come in and get some direct one-to-one work, that is available to them, and vice versa. If someone isn't local or not within the UK, they can reach out to us and still work with us in a good capacity.
I think anyone who's thinking of getting into lifting, I'm thinking actually slightly older lifters, if they've got any tweaks or concerns, having a coach working with a physio and a physio who's a competitive athlete as well. Because one of the challenges we've seen over the years, and why I love working with Dr. Simon Lawson in South Africa, who's a chiropractor, he works with athletes, and he'll never say to you, okay, take off 6 weeks, because we know with an athlete that's not going to happen. And I don't want to upset any medical professionals, but that may be either a naive view, because not understanding how the athlete works. So that's how you address a member of the public, not an athlete, and particularly not a competitive athlete. Or it might be a little bit lazy. You know, you want to rather say to the athlete, fine, let me speak to your coach, or get your coach to contact me, and let's put a program together that works for you. You know, we have a physio in South Africa, Ian. I cannot believe that I've forgotten his surname. He's going to kill me. But also a competitive power lifter and an absolute legend. And, you know, he can hold an 800 kilo deadlift at a body weight of 47. Okay, he's not 47, but like, you know, he's got proper physio hands. And when you have a medical professional that's looking after you, that understands the sport that you do, has maybe even competed at a higher level, as athletes, we're going to do more damage to ourselves by not listening rather than working with a program. I'd love your thoughts on that.
Absolutely is.
Ian
You know,
Hacker,
for someone to have
sorry,
come to you.
Ian, bloody hell. Yeah. Tony,
Yeah, having someone.
Sorry to interrupt. We got Tony, one of our South African athletes, watching. Don't tell Ian, Tony. I know you guys trained together. All right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, having someone with that knowledge and background is invaluable, because they won't just tell you to stop. Having a pain or an ache doesn't mean injury, and having that professional reassurance is sometimes all you need.
Yep.
But if you are faced with a more complex problem, then knowing that you're in the hands of someone that's been there, done it, and had studied relentlessly to get an individual out of that injury, you're only going to come back better. Me and Alec have had some great success stories. An individual that comes to mind is a woman called Catherine, who dealt with hip pain for a very, very long time. She started to see Alec on a regular basis to get physio, and she made great improvements. And then the next step was, okay, let's address programming. What are you doing? And taking a smart approach. You know, coming back from injury is all about intensity and volume, and managing those two factors. And it's easier said than done. But she went through a whole process last year of competing 3 times, which she's never done back to back, and her body be so resilient. And she ended up deadlifting over 200 kilos in the 84 kilo weight class, being a very low, should I say, 84 kilos. But she did absolutely amazing. And we've got quite a few of those that have come back from severe setbacks. So it speaks for itself.
Yeah. On that point, it's really incredibly valuable for people to understand, if they're not lifters and not athletes. You know, strength is the mother skill, right? Strength is neural. You get stronger, you strengthen your nervous system. You can take it from a 1-lane dirt road to an 18-lane newly paved highway, where you can get much more information down it. And then your balance, coordination, stamina, endurance, all of these things start to improve and increase. But also the biggest thing is with the stamina or the endurance, that applies to the supporting muscles, right? So when your muscles are strong enough to hold your structure, your skeleton in place the way it should be the whole day, and they don't give up, and then the little stabilizer muscles fail and you end up with pain and aches. You get stronger, you hold your body the way it was meant to be longer, and then ultimately throughout the day. And it can really, strength training can improve problems that we have that are related to maybe not having enough strength training. And I think having a physio just as a backup with that, and as a partner, even better. It's a fantastic, fantastic combination.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about the kind of middle-aged, younger lifters, but like
Mm.
you say, it improves your quality of life, even, for older lifters, masters lifters, keeping up that strength training. Or if you are of an older generation, you've never lifted weights before, go seek that professional, because you will add so much quality to your life. And it's something that we are also very passionate about at Motion, is being able to offer a service for every ability and everyone, because we also have we have NHS level physios as well as part of our
Mm.
team, so National Health Service. So we don't just deal with the younger, stronger generation. We deal with, John off the street, or Mary who's coming in and wants to get a little bit stronger because she's noticing it's a bit more difficult to do daily tasks.
Right. Oh, love it. You know, the University of Nottingham, it's interesting because I've got clients in Dubai, I've got friends in Dubai, and they've been there sort of for 10 years, 15 years, and a lot of their kids, and these are South Africans, well, actually some from the UK, but primarily South Africans, that are sending their kids off to the University of Nottingham. So I want to know what makes a university so special. And also, if you were to speak to university kids about powerlifting and about what you do, particularly those from overseas that are not local, that don't have that family support network, or those who may not have it, you know, I know they should get in touch with you and, have the opportunity to come and lift and hang out and join a community. But what is so valuable about the lifting for students from, and we've spoken a little bit about it, but I'd like to reiterate it, that from that community point of view, if you're not local, if you're not from the UK, you're from overseas, it's just so much healthier. I mean, I'm answering the question myself. It's so much
Yeah.
healthier for you than going and hanging out in the pub. But go for it. I'm going to keep quiet now. I'm turning my
Yes.
volume down. Okay, go for
So,
it.
So the first part of your question, so in Nottingham, there's two universities, really big universities, and I think the student population for each one is like 35,000. So there's a huge amount of student population. I am with the Nottingham Trent University, and we also have University of also in the same session as ours. So there's both universities coming together. And what makes the university special is they invest into their students. They understand the student experience has to be number one priority. So they're putting funding, they're paying coaches like myself to deliver a quality service. They're invested in experienced coaches to be able to offer that on a consistent basis. And that kind of goes into the next question as well. You're coming and you're not just working with someone that's been doing it 5 minutes. You're with someone that has a wealth of knowledge and experience and can really guide you in an appropriate manner, to just get you underneath a bar for the first time. Or if you have some lifting experience, can also cater the approach from
Mm-hmm.
there. And then you've got the lifestyle factors. You've got that routine, because a lot of people coming for the university for the first time, it's their first time away from home. They lose that structure and routine. And this gives them it back, and it gives the power back in their hands, instead of being like, oh, I don't know what to do because my timetable looks so different from the education that I've just come from. It gives you a set point to be there on time, so you're still accountable, and you're pushing yourself through barriers within training that are difficult. And then that you have that resilience, and you can go into your university studies and mimic exactly what you've done. Something gets hard, you can bite down any gum shield and still go through it. And that there is, again, invaluable life skill. It's not just lifting a bar from point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
but you have all these life lessons along the way.
Sure. I love that. That's it. Spot on. And I'm going to get in touch with my mates in Dubai who are the parents. I'm going to say, right, get in touch with Tom. So I do need you to send me your Instagram account, please, as well, and the university, and then we'll tag them in this. So I've got to put the work one up as well.
Yes, I
ju-
will do. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm actually going to add it now quickly. So while we're chatting, so while you're chatting, I'm going to add it. The wonders and joys of modern technology. Um, so what I wanted to ask you is, you've been in. Okay, so first let's finish on the coaching. Is it more valuable for a lifter to have a coach And I know there are great, amazing coaches out there that may not have competed specifically in powerlifting, but what's the value for a lifter or an athlete having a coach who's been on the platform, having a coach who's won at national and at international level, and that's coached at those levels? What's the value add just to an ordinary strength and conditioning coach, maybe someone who does calisthenics or swimming or squash, and has a little bit of strength and conditioning behind them? Not saying that they may not be fantastic coaches, but what's the value of having a coach who's been on the platform?
The biggest thing is this accelerates the individual's learning, because someone has that experience and they've been there and done that. They can accelerate that individual to a point much higher because a coach has that background and that knowledge. And that's the biggest thing that a specific powerlifting coach can give an individual that's interested within powerlifting. And not only that, everybody has their own individual communication skills. So it's a very powerful position to be in when you're working with somebody so closely. So to have that experience, how to help them navigate through some life difficulties as well. And I don't think that can be underestimated. Having someone that has that several years of experience, has been through the same process, has dealt with similar struggles, and because the coaches overcome it, they can help then the lifter as well. So
Right.
there's two big main points.
So, and two great points. The time on the platform is invaluable.
It really is. It really is, because all those little nuances that probably would take someone a long time to learn, you could learn in one competition.
I was going to say, learn from our mistakes, don't make them again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we've done it the hard way, so we can help someone else
so
do it the
you
easy
don't
way.
have to.
Yes.
What's the Instagram handle of your business, of your coaching?
So it's Motion Perform.
I think I got it. Let's try this, and we'll get that
Excellent.
up there. So boom, there we go. Motion Perform. Did I spell that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, excellent. Okay, good. All right, cool. So having been in the sport for a long time, and having seen what it was, what it is now, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen? What do you love about the changes in the sport? Are there things that you miss and maybe frustrate you? What have you seen over the years? Because I think it's an invaluable insight. A lot of the athletes that I speak to are 2 years in, 3 years in, 4 years in, but to bring multiple decade experience, it's phenomenal. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you feel old, by the way.
No, not at all. So my first experience of a national competition, there was 3 people in my weight class. It was a good venue, the place called Dover. It was at a school, theatre venue, so they did well there. But yeah, there's 3 people in my weight class, and as time progressed,
I miss those days,
you
Tom, because then at least I could get a medal.
yeah, it's an easy 3rd place win or a 2nd place medal as well.
Third place is
But
fine. Nothing wrong with a bit of bronze.
No, there isn't at all. And to see the growth and the popularity of the sport as well. I've seen that slowly rise over the last few years, and it's amazing for the sport because that brings more money, brings more funding, brings more eyes, but it also comes with its growing pains as well. The federations have to make certain decisions for long-term sustainability. The grassroots level of powerlifting is university level, because there's a huge influx of people getting into the sport, and people might not be aware, but at university level there's a books league. So it's inter-university books league, and the better the universities do within that league, the more sport funding they receive. So it's also very beneficial for the universities to push elite sport to the high standard they can within their realms, because each university is graded slightly differently. But to get back on track a little bit with the
No, but
population
that's
increase.
if I can jump in on that, that's such a
Yes, of
great
course.
point because powerlifting complements every single sport. The basis of any athlete is strength and squat, bench, deadlift, irrespective of whether it's table tennis or water polo or martial arts. You need to be doing powerlifting.
Yeah, 100%. It goes back to Mark Bell saying, "His strength is not a weakness,"
Yeah,
and
I
it's
love
never a
that.
bad thing to be strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's invaluable for everybody. Any sport, even table tennis, it helps to be stronger and more dynamic on your feet to generate that rotational force. Um, and it only just helps. People might be in the sport for 1 year, or like me, over 10 years. It might be
Mm,
something they just do at university level or really fall in love with. And to see it grow has been amazing to see, because that means our sport is going to be around for a lot longer. And I know we could get onto the debate of IPF going or trying to get the Olympic stamp
mm,
of approval as well, which has always been very difficult and always raised questions. But at like a local level within British powerlifting, they've gone through a massive change recently as well. And there's been a little bit of upset with their new qualifying procedure for national level competitions, where they're just shrinking it down to 14, top 14
mm,
of each
mm,
weight class. And a lot of people, unfortunately, will miss out. But there has to be sometimes difficult decisions to be made for that sustainability, and unfortunately people are questioning that at the moment. But hopefully it's just, go through this little bit of rough and things will continue to improve. And seeing things like Sheffield come around, it's been amazing. Ben Banks, the owner of SBD, is done a lot of good for the world of powerlifting, and I think directly linked to strongman being so popular, with the SBD logo being at strongman events, people look it up and
mhm.
then they find powerlifting. So I think there's really a great amalgamation of several different things that are just continuing to accelerate the sport. And then we've got the social media influencers as well, which have helped, and they've got into the sport and they've only just helped accelerate that path.
And it's wonderful growth. I suppose that development and changes within rules is like your training. You try something new. If it works, you keep it. If it doesn't work, you replace it. So people need to understand that it's all a long-term game here. Everyone's playing for the long picture in order of growing the sport. I love Gary Williams, the phenomenal announcer, the legend, the myth, the man himself, was on the podcast. And I love what he said about the Olympics, where he said the Olympics is the icing on the cake, or would be the icing on the cake, but powerlifting is the cake. We've already got the cake. We've got so much. As you said, from Sheffield, we've got World Games now. We've got our championships, whether it's Commonwealth, Worlds, Masters, all of the different ones, Open, all of these amazing events that we have now. And the sport, and look at the quality of the streaming and the media coverage and all of these amazing things around this amazing sport. It's been it's been very annoying for us because we set ourselves a bar, and a bar based on like white lights and what they bring to the sport. And now I've got to go out and spend a fortune on lights for Commonwealth and Masters, and got to buy more lights, and you got to buy 10-meter stands and all of these crazy things. But it just helps the sport grow, and it all comes from a place of love and passion. So what I wanted to ask you next is, what's the future for you, Tom? What are you looking forward to doing in the next couple of months, next year, or next few years? Getting back on the platform?
100%. It's been
Ah. Mm?
over a year since I stepped on the platform, and I was meant to compete at the national level last year, but unfortunately a little injury occurred. But that's my aim for this year, is to get back onto the national stage. I still love powerlifting. I still love training hard. That has never stopped, and I want to be able to compare myself against some very, very strong individuals and see where I sit. I feel like I've not managed to really fulfill that over the last couple of years, and I'm very hungry to do that. The fire still burns extremely strong inside of me to be able to go compete. I still believe I've got a lot left to give. You know, I'm 33 now, so I'm not a young lifter, but I'm not old.
Mm.
You know, I hate this talk around you hit a certain age and you can't get better anymore, or just that misconception or negative self-belief. But I 100% will get a lot better than what I am now. And outside of competing is just growing motion performance.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I work with some great individual coaches and we've all come under the same banner, and just helping each other grow and delivering a quality service to powerlifters, to the industry, is something that we are extremely passionate about. We've all, you know, unfortunately, I've heard many cases of just poor coach-client relationships, and that is never been a thing. For when I started coaching, it's always been, I've never had the fanciest sheets or the websites, but the one thing for me was the service, the quality, the person-to-person interaction. And I've really developed that over my years of coaching. And then now I'm able to be in a position to offer that complete package. So I'm very much looking forward to just continuing to grow and just having that fulfillment of seeing people succeed on the platform or coming back from injury and just being a better version of themselves.
Love that. And it's, we're looking forward to seeing you back on the platform. We're looking forward to seeing your business grow, and we know it will. And looking forward to chatting with Alec as well about that and about his lifting. But I think the thing is, knowing you, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Would you rather coach or compete? But I think I know the answer already.
It's a very difficult question.
Yeah.
For me right now, that is so difficult. That is so difficult. Um,
How cool is that, though? Because that just shows how amazing the
yeah,
sport is, right?
it is. Absolutely. I'm very fortunate to work with some amazing lifters who have been at some very high levels, and that's been so satisfying. But, you know, because I feel like I've still got more to give in the sport myself, I would lean just a 1% more to competing,
Yeah.
but only a little bit.
So on that point, it's interesting to hear you say that, and I think your experience for so long within the sport, your thought process around it is understandable. Like, I started lifting in my 40s when I came into the sport as a master one, chatting to Syl Atkinson last week. She came in her 40s, and she won last year, like the world champion. There's so much more to give, and I think that's the thing. The big challenge, I really believe, for powerlifters is that sort of like 32, 33 up until master stage, where the opens is very, very challenging, and you got the younger lifters that are bringing a lot of game, but your growth opportunities are massive. And then the best part about the sport is when you hit masters, because then you got a whole bunch of new records to go after, new competition. And just when you start to get bored of that, then you hit Master 2 and so on, up until Master 27, hopefully. There's so much to look forward to in the sport, and it's amazing longevity.
Yeah, you're so right as well. We've seen lifters like Tony Cliff, who is an absolute legend of British powerlifting and who's been competing for a very long time. And he's continued to get better as a lifter and reign as champion for so many years. When the new up and comers were making their way up and challenging him, he still came out on top. And I think that is a great indication that this is a marathon and not a sprint. We all are aware of the younger lifters who are extremely talented, but they're very few and far between. It's a very small minority. The majority of us have to work extremely hard and can still get the same opportunities, but it will just take a little bit longer. And so enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because if it's hard earned, it's going to feel very, very rewarding once you get there. So don't give up on the journey.
Don't give up on the journey. I love that. And I think the thing as well is that you may have amazing, naturally gifted young athletes that are doing exceptionally well, but natural gifts will never outperform hard work and consistency in the long run. if you have a naturally gifted, hardworking, well, then we're in trouble. But
Yeah.
and again, it's on the day. Did you cut your weight right? How did the travel affect you? There's always an opportunity. Powerlifting is always about bringing 100% because your 100% on the day is what can make the difference.
Yeah, you know what they say, it's not always the strongest that win a competition, it's the best power lifter on the day. So
Yeah.
it's taking all those variations that can happen and just dealing with them the best you can. And then, you're going to surprise yourself.
Yeah, that's who manages those head conversations when you're under the bar or trying to get it up, and that those negative thoughts jump in there. And then how do you manage that? How do you keep that quiet? Or if you've got a number that's been avoiding you, if I could put it that way, and you got to go up more than that to it, how do you have that conversation? Absolutely. It's all about growth and the development of strength, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
It's a well-rounded package, powerlifting. It's not, as you say, it's not just lifting the bar, it's all those factors.
Yeah.
If you can believe in yourself more, then you're going to walk off that platform or walk away from that training session, and that's going to bleed into your everyday life as well.
Absolutely.
Again, that's what makes it so powerful.
You lift not only the bar, you lift yourself.
100%. 100%.
Just as we wrap up, I've got my favorite two questions to ask. But just before we do, is there anything you would like to say or talk about or discuss?
I know. I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity for coming on. We've known each other for a very long time, and that's all I would like to say is thank you.
And you are very welcome. And it's been my honor and my absolute pleasure. I think we will probably do this for hours, but Instagram limit us to an hour on a live stream and then a record. So we'll keep it within that, but we'll definitely chat to you again because it's fantastic. Maybe we can get you and Alec to come on and chat. It'll be brilliant. Or you, Alec, and Paul, and we can call it 11.
Yes, that would be great. And do you know the T-shirt me and Paul got from the gym?
Yes.
I've still got it up where I train. I've had it all these years.
Wow, dude, that make me emotional now, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you. That really means a lot, and thank you for that. All right, let me try and recompose myself here because you hit me a bit with that one. So, what is your favorite thing in the two questions? What is your favorite thing in powerlifting, and what drives you mad in powerlifting? So, two different questions, not serious. So, let's start with what's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing, probably the appetite for food that you get.
I got it. Absolutely. Yep.
It really enables you to pack away the calories. And that just helps with recovery, gaining size. It can be a little bit bad for the waistline sometimes, but
well, that's why we have strong
definitely
belts.
Allows you.
That's why SBD invented the lever belt. Yeah. Oh man,
the easy adjustability.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's another conversation for us, which I'd like to do, particularly with your view and insight to the universities, like how to build a healthy relationship with food and with your body. Go and lift weight. It's like just go and compete in powerlifting.
Yes.
And you chase a weight to compete. And then your coach tells you got to go up and you're like, but then when your numbers go up, you go, hell yes. Okay. So we've got like a minute and a bit left. So what drives you mad about powerlifting?
What drives me mad?
Yeah.
It's waiting before you get on the platform. You've just weighed in and you're waiting. That what drives me mad because you just want to go. That for me is what drives me a bit mad.
So the waiting for the weigh-in time and then that weigh-in and then I get you 100%. Oh,
yes,
Tom, everyone's going, yeah. Tom, it's been epic to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And anyone out there that's looking for an online coach, if you're in the Nottingham area, if you're a varsity student from anywhere in the world that's studying there, get in touch with Tom. Or if you're local, get in touch with Tom. And I know from the years we've been friends, you can't do better. You're a great coach. You got a lot of great coaches in the UK, but you know what? You're my guy.
Thank you very much, man. It's been my pleasure to speak with you today.
Oh, epic. I'm going to end the stream. And you see, I suppose that's the great thing about powerlifting, by the chatting to coaches. I have areas I can now recommend people, which is great. So, which is all right. Let me shut down the stream and I'll chat to you quickly off air. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Stay with us in another, I think, 2 hours. 3 p.m. UK time. We are chatting with Joy Shraka, another UK lifter. All right, Tom, I'll see you in a minute.